republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming to the meeting tonight. We will start with superintendent's comments.
Thank you, Ms. Sigma. Good evening. Welcome to tonight's Board of Education meeting. We're glad you have joined us. It looks like a great group with us, and we've got a lot of good things to celebrate tonight.
Woo woo.
Come on, Karen. That's what I'm talking about. I want to thank our whole community for your support in passing and approving our Prop SCSD with 71.89% of the vote. Yes, it's almost 72% of a yes vote. We are humbled, we are grateful, we are excited. This approval and support is greatly needed in order for the SCSD to continue to move forward. Projects are starting now, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
So congratulations, more work for Jeremy. Thank you again. Can we give everybody a hand? I want to thank all the volunteers. There's a lot of key ones in this room that helped get the important information out to the public regarding Prop SCSD. Your hard work and support is greatly appreciated and needed, and thank you to all. Also tonight, congratulations. In just a second, we are going to re-sign Daniel Hewitt up for another 3 years. Daniel, let's give Daniel a hand. And I feel like she's already with us because she's everywhere with us. Tammy McGrillis is going to be signed in tonight as a board member as well. Welcome, Tammy, and we can't wait to work with both of you as we move forward. It's the middle of April, and that means the end of the school year is a little bit more than a month away. It's hard to believe that we're down to our last stretch of the school year. It's getting pretty exciting as we progress towards the end to graduation. We have several school events, activities taking place throughout the district until the rest of the year. Lots to do. This is a very busy but fun time in the SCSD. Speaking of spring activities and sports, the new spring season is in full swing. Get out and root our students on. Standardized testing will also take place soon. I want to give kudos out to our staff for preparing our students to do their absolute best. This is kind of my little soapbox. Although we don't believe standardized tests are the true or entire picture of our students' ability, it is important that each student does their best. These tests are a snapshot of our students' abilities and are used to evaluate our school district's effectiveness in meeting student learning needs. Our annual APR, which is our annual performance rate, is based highly on these tests. So let's all focus and let's finish the year strong, and let's show the rest of the state what the SCSD is made of. How about tonight? We've worked hard. We've got a lot of things for you. We got policy changes, secondary. We got a little bit for everybody. It's like Oprah tonight. You get policy reading, certification of election results. We got a board organizational meeting. We got consent agenda items with the curriculum and instruction resources on there. We got to do the crazy designated MSBA delegate that's always a hot contested race. Bid proposals for the new bond projects. We got a CSIP plan that we can't, typically you don't do this in a year. Typically you don't go for a $90 million bond issue and then do your CSIP all in the same year. But guess what? We did, and we have both to be approved tonight. That is awesome. We have a preliminary tax rate for you tonight. We have meet and confer agreement classified. Ladies are in the house. Community, this is the highlight. Adult Ed's in the house tonight. Community education program review, and that's second to none, and we'll talk about that later. We're so proud of that program. Financial planning and investment of surplus funds program review. That's our friend, Mr. Jeremy. He also has our financial report. So a lot going on in this meeting. Stay with us. It's going to be a great one. And then again, just to encourage, we're obviously in the middle of a very productive year. Got a lot going on. Let's keep moving forward together. The SCSD is a great place, and I'm proud to be the superintendent. That's all I got.
Thank you, Dr. Seifert. Item 3.04, board communications.
We have none.
None. All right, we'll move on to item 3.05, audience comments.
All regular and special meetings of the board shall be open to the public. Since the board desires to be a good listener and be responsive to the community, persons desiring to address the board may do so during the time so allotted on the agenda and according to established procedures. During the audience portion of each board meeting, patrons are invited by the president to speak for or against any proposal on the tentative agenda or on any school concern. The individual is asked to identify him or herself, limit comments to a few minutes, and avoid discussing personalities. The president reserves the right to limit the number of presentations and/or length of comments. At the discretion of the president, patrons may be recognized at other times during the board meeting. Board is very interested in audience comments. According to board policy, members cannot respond during the actual meeting. The board will the board will listen to audience comments. If necessary, additional follow-up will occur through district administrators. I got tongue-tied today.
Thank you, Daniel. Brendan Kearns, if you'd like to come share with us.
Good evening, members of the board, cabinet, and St. Charles community. My name is Brendan Kearns. I'm the president of the St. Charles Education Association, the exclusive bargaining organization for certified employees and nurses in the district. It's been a busy month. Congratulations and thank you to the community on passing our bond issue for everybody who volunteered and voted. We are grateful for your help. Also wanted to congratulate Daniel Hewitt on his reelection to the board and Tammy McGrellis on her election. We look forward to working with you guys, having productive conversations, and keeping St. Charles great. Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan. Item 3.06, is there a move to amend or adopt the agenda as presented?
I move we adopt the agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Old business, item 4.01. Is there a move to approve the regular session minutes from our March 13th meeting, as well as the CSIP meeting minutes from our March 19th meeting as presented?
I move to approve the regular open session minutes of March 13th and CSIP meeting minutes of March 9th as presented.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That carries. Item 4.02, policy changes. This is our second reading. Ellen?
I have some questions. I apologize for not asking them at the first reading, but quickly. Policy EHBD is about AI. I assume the AI use plan will be developed by David Taylor. I'm requesting that the board gets to see that plan, not necessarily to approve it, because I wouldn't know an AI plan if it bit me, let's see. And DJF1 raises the limit for informal, no-bid contract spending from $3,500 to $50,000. Does that seem excessive to anyone else? And how often are we approving $3,600?
Yeah, over the,
Yeah.
Jeremy, could you speak to
Yeah, I'm
both
trying
of
to
those?
pull up that policy to make sure it does say 50,000.
It does.
I think, yeah. And,
So-
yeah.
So right now, what we're doing, because that's been a policy that's been floating for a number of, for about a year, I believe. We're still holding with that 3,500 for 3 vendors. We've maintained that, and we will continue to put that, maintain that in our procedures. Typically, what we do is anything with the original policy was anything between 3,500 and 15,000 would be a 3 vendor. Anything 15,000 to 50, unless we are using a cooperative purchasing agreement, which is a nationally recognized purchasing agreement, because it's the RFP's already been written by government entities, or approved by government entities, state level and or federal level. Those would come to me for sign off. Anything 50,000 or above, if we believe it's 50,000 or above, that's when we come to you with a draft RFP, say, can we go out to request to advertise for those jobs, and then we bring that to you, and that's what you'd see in the consent agenda today.
Okay, and,
The AI, do you want that addressed as well?
no,
Any other further questions?
I didn't know that AI, same thing, we've had a bit of a technological issue here with just security and things like that. So with looking at AI, sorry, I don't have my thing on. looking at AI, what are we putting in place now with that newer technology to, because it talks about, student information, pertinent information that's supposed to be this or that and the other. Well, that came up before, same thing with our other thing, and it got hacked into. So how are we, I guess, moving forward in that and looking ahead on how we're gonna protect ourselves from that, I guess, with that. I know it's a policy suggestion or whatever, but I'm sure we're definitely gonna need something in there.
So with any of our technology, there's a couple of components to this. One, we have to meet our insurance standards, or else we cannot be insured. So we have to go through every piece of technology software that we have in our district that's allowable, and guarantee that their guidelines within the user agreement are being met by that company. If they do not, even if it's the smallest of guideline, we say no. Typically gets our technology department in a little bit of a quandary with some of our certified staff, especially that desire to have that software. But there are strict standards that we have to follow just to meet that insurance guideline. And then there's also state guidelines that we must follow. So when we talk about that data breach with the student information system, that was not a part of our system, that was a part of the other. And I will say this, and you talk to the insurance companies, even with us meeting every one of those standards, we're still at risk. We're always going to be at risk, personally, professionally, and a lot of it just depends on worldwide events. So even though we have the policies in place, the only real protection is to eliminate all technology usage. That's the truest form of protection, right? Which is not going to happen as for a 21st century learner. It wouldn't happen for a 21st century employer. So, but we do have to follow those guidelines, and we do have a team that manages and monitors that and then communicates back to our staff when those standards are not met.
Thank you, Jeremy. Any other questions?
I know on the student side of things, I know we've started to address that in our code of conduct a little bit with AI and adding that into some of that academic dishonesty piece as well. So we'll continue to look at that. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Earl, or not. But.
No, I was just going to say, as of now, currently AI is blocked for student use at the district level.
Is it something that we see as a definite need for the student moving forward?
I think we are still ourselves in there. It's so new that we are still trying to learn as much as we can in our department about it to see how it can be a benefit for both teachers and for students in the classroom without, as Dr. Seifert alluded to, academic honesty, like without breaking academic honesty.
Right.
I think there are definitely some research out there that will support that it can be beneficial for both students and teachers. We're still in that research phase.
I think it's a game changer, just like the internet was, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is. So at some point, not that we have, when I say some point, it doesn't mean we haven't embraced it already, but I think we have to move forward with technology, but we have to be very careful what it looks like for our kids and for the adults in the buildings. And so I can tell you this, anytime we go to a conference, there's AI stuff everywhere for us. There's a new AI summit coming out at a Hancock Place this summer that hopefully we'll have a couple staff members sign up to go to as well. So as Earl says, we're learning, we'll keep progressing with it, and obviously we'll continue to put in safeguards to make sure we're using it correctly. But AI is here. It's going to continue to change the game a little bit, and we have to make sure we stay up on top of it, and I think we'll do that. So it's a balance, right?
It's a balance. I'm just old school. I'm just not for it. I'm just old school. I just say, can we do without it? Yeah, I'd love to. I think, look at the cell phones. We had to move away from the cell phone because that was an issue. I just see this thing moving forward going to be an issue with our students, with our staff. It even says in there about staff, what's the staff discipline going to look like when they breach that, right? So I almost look like, is it going to be more of a headache as we move forward, or we wait a little while? We wait, I don't know, 5 years down the road. Is it going to hurt us that much, Just my thoughts. Like I said, I'm old-fashioned.
From what to that point, from what I gather from other districts and some other superintendents and different things and some uses they're using, I don't think we're behind, way behind, but I certainly think we're certainly not in the forefront of it. And I don't want, and then anybody else who's sitting here that thinks, well, we should be, it's a balance, right? I mean, we know it's gonna be a game changer. We know it already is. There's a lot of people already using it. It is a tool, but how do we use it the right way for our kids and our adults? And that's what we have to do. So that's what we're figuring out as we move forward.
I do like the idea of seeing it. I would like
The
to see
plan.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Last one for the 50,000. Is that because of a change in regulation values for thresholds?
Yeah, I think if you're looking at any of the current legislation, they are saying that, and desiring, many of them are desiring, if you can just use cooperative purchasing and you never have to do another RFP. So I'm not saying we're going that route or anything like that, but if that passes, certainly it reduces our cost in advertising and it speeds up our process. Rather than a 3-month process to get a final payment, we just take it to you the month of and seek approval through the cooperative purchasing agreements, which we're a part of 3 different ones. So I think that that's probably what it's leaning towards. Again, not saying that we wouldn't go out and get quotes and get bids, because obviously we want competition. But I will say this too, for me personally, I love the cooperative purchasing. Since the RFP is already written, it's already approved by state officials and/or federal officials, governmental officials, it does reduce our costs in the long run and can speed up some of our processes.
Cool. I'm familiar with 3,500, where that came from, and 5 and 10 and 250, but not 50. So all good. Thank you.
There's no further discussion. Is there a move to approve the policies listed as presented?
I move to approve the policies as presented.
Is there a second? I second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes. Item 5.01 is the certification of the April 8th election results. Is there a move to certify the April 8th election results as presented?
I move that we accept the April 8th election results as presented.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes. Item 5.02, is there a move to dissolve the 24-25 school board in order to reorganize?
I move we dissolve the 24-25 school board in order to reorganize.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Item 6.01, Kelly will take over here.
This is where I like to make my annual joke. I don't have a boss right now.
Yep. Here.
Just for a couple minutes. That's funny, right?
You were on and then you turned yourself off.
Oh, yeah, yep.
No, it's on. Okay.
Yep.
Tammy, if you want to come up to the microphone, please.
Touch the little person.
Okay, I will recite this, and then you and Daniel can repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of school director
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of school director
in and for the St. Charles R6 School District,
in and for the St. Charles R6 School District,
County of St. Charles, State of Missouri, to the best of my ability according to the law.
County of St. Charles, State of Missouri, to the best of my ability according to the law.
Thank you. Tammy, you can come have your seat.
Item 6.02, Kelly will conduct this.
So the first election for this evening will be the office of President of the Board. Nominations are now open for President.
Nominate Heidi Sigma.
Daniel Hewitt has nominated Heidi Sigma. Are there any other nominations? Okay. Hearing no further nominations, nominations are closed. We will now proceed to the election. The candidate for president is Heidi Sigma. This election will be conducted by roll call. We will vote on Heidi Sigma. Please respond yes if you wish to elect, and no if you do not. I'll take a roll call vote now. Gibson? Hewitt?
Yes.
Sigma?
Yes.
O'Hearn?
Yes.
O'Mara? Zaire? McGrellis?
Thank you
Okay,
all.
we have a unanimous vote for Ms. Heidi Sigma, who will remain as the board president. And now she will conduct the election for the vice president.
Okay, item 6.03, the next election this evening will be for the office of vice president of the board. Nominations are now open for vice president. Daniel Hewitt is nominated. Are there any other nominations? Hearing no further nominations, nominations are closed. We will now proceed to the election. The candidate for vice president is Daniel Hewitt. This election will be conducted by roll call. We will first vote on Daniel Hewitt, who has been nominated for vice president. Please respond yes. If you do not wish to elect Daniel, respond no. You may also abstain. The secretary will call the roll.
Gibson? Yes. Hewitt?
Yes.
Sigma?
Yes.
O'Hearn? Yes. O'Mara? Yes. Zaire? Yes. And McGrellis?
The results of the vote are as follows. Everyone voted in favor of Daniel Hewitt. He has received the majority of the votes and is declared vice president. Congratulations, Daniel. Item 7.01, approval of the consent agenda. For efficiency, the school board utilizes a consent agenda. Items placed on the consent agenda are routine in nature or are among the many decisions that the board has already determined are in the domain of the administration. Is there a move to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, we will move to new business. Item 9.01. This is designation of the MSBA delegate. Each year, the board is asked to select an MSBA delegate. This person will officially be responsible for casting any votes during the MSBA convention on behalf of the Board of Education. The MSBA delegate for the 24-25 school year was Ellen Zaire. The delegate assembly is being held in person on June 16th. The MSBA annual conference where voting will take place will be held on October 23rd.
Do we nominate again for this
Yep,
one?
you move to elect, yep.
I move to elect Ellen.
I second.
Is this
And
roll call or-
third.
No. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Congratulations, Ellen. Item 9.02, we need to designate an MSBA alternate delegate. So similarly, each year the board selects an alternate delegate. This person is responsible for casting any votes during the convention on behalf of the board if the appointed delegate is unable to do so. Last year's MSBA alternate delegate was Karen O'Hearn. Same dates as follows for the delegate assembly and the MSBA annual conference. Would anyone like to make a motion to?
I nominate Karen O'Hearn unless Tammy wants it. But Tammy's busy. Yeah, yeah. So I nominate Karen.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Congratulations, Karen. Item 9.03. These are bid proposals. Mr. Shields?
On there, sorry. I was caught in my own thoughts there for a second.
Wrapped up in all these nominations?
I am. I'm like, man. This is really great.
Trying to write them all down. Wait a minute. Alternate delegate.
Oh, so one thing, because I was, with the policy reading with that 50, that was just for federal funds. Okay, that's just with federal funds, and that's because of the federal agreements with the RFP. So just to give clarity on that, I didn't
Thank you.
say that, I apologize.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But going to what we're actually supposed to be talking about here. Let me see the first one that we've got. We've got 3 proposals. So we've got, and I want to tell you this as well. What I've been told and what we've always tried to do with this, even if this wasn't a bond-related issue, any project that would exceed $250,000 wouldn't be put into the consent item. It would be put in new business for us to look at with maybe a heavier lens. So the 3 that we have would be bond proposals. We have a full roofing replacement at Success Campus for $275,000. That's minus materials. We expect those to be about between 125 and 150. I believe we allocated a little over 500 for that job, so we'll be under budget there. And then the other ones are the roofing renovations. That's the recoating for 4 buildings right now. This heavy rain has certainly highlighted some areas of concern for us, especially with the heavy winds. And Dr. Seaver and all of us have discussed, like the heavy winds are pushing the rain into areas that we didn't know existed on our rooftops. So, so those areas are the first 4 that we want to tackle because they are giving us the greatest grief. And so you see the 4 of those. One important thing to note on those items, we're going with Garland Manufactured Roofing, so on all of our buildings moving forward, at least through this bond issue. I can't speak for next ones, because they have been competitively bid through Education Plus, and Education Plus has selected them as the material and the designer of roofing, and so the people that are associated with Garland, or the people that won these bids, Garland walked around and walked them through all of our areas that needed to be recoated, gave them the specs. They are the experts on the job rather than our architect, because they are the roofing experts. And they are the ones that have coordinated this work for us. So you'll see Garland, I think it's DBA, and then you'll see the contractors that won those awards. There were 8 of them that did show up. We were very surprised by very, very fortunate with this turnout, and very, very happy with the turnout for 8 bids to come through. And then the last one is one that we just finished today, waited until the bond passage, but it is Harris and St. Charles West, new flooring all throughout Harris, new painting throughout Harris, and then tack boards, as well as some of the cabinetry and the media center library area. Underbid as well there, and along with St. Charles West. Now, St. Charles West, I will say, I say we're underbid, but it's a little bit harder because we still have a second phase of flooring, albeit much smaller phase of flooring. So I feel very confident that we won't come close to what our estimates are. In conversations with the roofers and the architect today, so far we haven't seen any effect from anything that's going on with the market volatility that we have. So we're very fortunate to be in a place right now where the estimates are a bit under than what we were originally projecting. So that's great news, and we'll see where that takes us as we carry through this bond. So
It's a good start, though.
It's a good start so far, absolutely.
Any questions?
Yeah, I think the biggest one to just pull on, I think that you mentioned at the beginning, but all of these are, I think every one but one is underneath what we had for the budget or what we thought it would be.
The
for
only one that
proposition.
we didn't do a budget everything is under, with the exception of Jefferson. Jefferson, we did the major remodel with just a big price tag on it because that was the estimation for a major remodel by our architectural firm. So I didn't even have a roofing recoat on that, but it would be taking that 22.5 and taking that number off of that before we get to the interior finishes.
Okay, yeah, great start then,
Okay, yeah.
for sure.
Is there a motion to approve the bid proposals as presented?
I move we approve the bid proposals as presented.
Is there a second? I second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That carries. Next on the agenda is the 25 through 2030 CSIP plan. Dr. Draper.
All right. All right, we have a presentation for you. Okay, perfect. All right, well, good evening, everyone. We are very excited to present to you our CSIP plan, also known as our Continuous School Improvement Plan that we have been working on throughout the year. For those of you who don't know, a strategic plan is essentially a formalized roadmap which outlines the district's long-term goals, our vision, and our priorities over the next 5 years. And it will serve as a framework for decision-making for how we allocate our resources and how we evaluate our progress over the next 5 years. The plan will go into effect on July 1 of 2025 and conclude on June 30th of 2030. What you will see throughout the plan, and you have a copy of this presentation, but you also have in board docs a copy of the detailed plan as well. What you will see in the CSIP, it will include our revised mission vision statements along with our core values. You will see the 3 strategic pillars that the steering committee determined. Also our SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely objectives that detail how we will accomplish each of those pillars. It also includes our strategies and action steps, success matrix, and lastly, our plan for monitoring. So this process started about a year ago this time, where we started identifying stakeholders to be a part of the CSIP steering committee. And at the conclusion of last school year, we held our kickoff meeting right here in this room. And throughout the year, we met to kind of review district data, look at historical data. We conducted a SWOT analysis. We held community forums. And based on all of that information and all the feedback that we got, the steering committee redeveloped our district's mission, our vision, our core values, and then created those 3 strategic pillars. We actually have several people in the room tonight who were a part of the steering committee. So if you were, just wave your hand. I see you. Yes, so Dr. Westbrook and Jill Meyer, Brendan Kearns, and then all of our board members. So thank you all for your work with this.
I think it's pretty neat to say this, that every board member was a part of it in some way.
Absolutely.
Even Tammy
yes.
was part of the subcommittee.
Yep.
So, I mean, that shows you the level of, I mean, it's just neat to see the
I
commitment.
agree.
So, sorry, I wanted to say that.
No, thank you. So after the development of our 3 strategic pillars, we then split off and started subcommittees. We met in subcommittees for January, March, and April based on those 3 pillars. So we had an academic excellence, resources, and culture subcommittees. And those groups really began to define the goals and action steps and strategies that will really carry out this work that we're going to do over the next 5 years. So with that being said, I'm happy to share for the first time that our new district mission, is engage, empower, inspire every learner every day. You can clap for that.
Let me tell you something, you guys get fired up. This is awesome, I love it.
Our vision for the district is that the City of St. Charles School District will be a leader of academic excellence that prepares students to be successful in all aspects of life. You can clap for that. And then our core values are centered around academic excellence, student-centeredness, integrity, diversity, and community. And you can clap for our values as well. I've already kind of shared with you, but we developed 3 strategic pillars as a CSIP, and these were just priority areas for us for the next 5 years. And so what we're going to do is each of us from the CO team, we were in charge of kind of carrying out that work and leading that work with the subcommittees. So we're going to talk about what that looks like for our respective areas. And so for me, I was co-leading the Academic Excellence Subcommittee with Megan Bowersox. As you can see there, we had several subcommittee members from all areas of our district. And so what we did was we developed 3 SMART goals. One, our first goal was centered around improving student attendance. Our second goal was centered around improving student achievement. And then our last one was improving success-ready students, in particular looking at our graduation rate and our college and career readiness. So those were the 3 goals that were developed out of the Academic Excellence Subcommittee. And then these are the strategies. I'm going to skip to the next slide because this slide really kind of outlines the strategies and the action steps. So when it comes to attendance, one of the things that we wanted to do was develop a comprehensive absence prevention and intervention system, and then really support our secondary schools by providing instructional support and reintegration and engagement strategies. The purpose is so that we are more proactive and have a systemic approach to monitoring student attendance and also providing early intervention. I think right now, when you talk to our building principals, we are very much reactive in how we respond. And so we realize that in order to move ahead, we need to really start focusing on what proactive measures can we put in place, what research is out there to support chronic absenteeism, and how can we better support our students. So that's what you'll see out of the attendance piece. When it comes to student achievement, we have 4 strategies with action steps that we're looking at. The first one is developing a district-wide literacy framework. I will say that this is required by the state to include this in our CSIP. The state requires that anytime you have a percentage, more than 25% of your students, 30% of your students with a reading success plan, meaning they're reading below grade level, then you have to address reading and literacy in your strategic plan. And as a district, we're sitting at about 33%, so slightly over that. And so we are wanting to develop a literacy framework that will not only support our beginning readers, but a framework that really looks at literacy from kindergarten through 12th grade. In addition to that, we've done a lot of work over the last few years when it comes to RTI, but we would really want to take that to the next level and continue enhancing our tiered instruction. And then lastly, we want to develop a district-wide instructional framework, and that will really just ensure that we have systemic alignment across all of our buildings, across all of our grade levels, and how we teach in learning practices and assessment practices in the district. And then lastly, success-ready students, really looking at what does it look like to be a SCSD graduate and what steps can we take as a district to help our students be lifelong learners and to achieve outside of the walls of St. Charles City School District. And so those are all of our action steps and goals for academic excellence. With that being said, I'm going to turn this over to Ashley, who's going to talk about culture.
Thank you. So I had the pleasure of working with Caitlin Cromian, and her and I co-led our culture subcommittee. All of our committee members are listed there. There is one that's missing that I'll need to get added, Mickey Plummer, who was instrumental in that, so I need to make sure that she's on there as well. Oh, there.
Yes,
Back
we will
there.
add.
Fantastic, yep. If you want to go to the next slide. All right, so we had 3 main goals. So the first one is regarding student support. So this is academic and behavioral support, looking at the interventions that we're providing, the tier 1, 2, and 3 through PBIS, and collecting that data through the TFI, which is the way that we rate our schools every year. Then we have our goal in regards to a sense of belonging, and we are looking at increasing our points on our culture and climate survey. And then same with community involvement, specifically of how our families are rating us on that. We can skip that one too, because it goes into more detail. So for student support, we're looking at continuously, right now we are already doing those data-driven support teams. So our tier 2 and tier 3 teams are our care teams in every building, but just continuing to do that with fidelity at all levels. So that is a big piece that we're looking at, as well as continuous learning and collaborative growth. So that's providing that robust PD, and hopefully staff-led PD. We have some buildings that are doing some fantastic things in regards to PBIS, allowing them to continue to share with their counterparts in the district. For sense of belonging, looking at cultivating that positive and supportive school environment. So that goes, into that active listening, positive communication, and getting that feedback, that constant feedback, to continue to build that positive school climate. Collaborative growth and inclusive leadership, so that's empowering those leadership opportunities for students within the buildings, so that they can have a greater influence on their, peers as well. And then again, that real-time feedback and using their information to kind of adapt and to grow our policies and our procedures within our buildings. And then the last is community involvement, and so that's strengthening that family and school collaboration, increasing the family engagement, more opportunities for that, and then aligning our communication across the district, and then consistent and inclusive communication across the district. That kind of plays into that as well, and creating that district-wide communication guide and just having consistency.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, Jeremy and I with resources. So we had an outstanding group. Thanks, Tammy, for being a part of that, and Mickey as well. But we had a pretty wide range group of facilities, teachers, etc. So we have 4 goals. School configuration, obviously, can be a hot topic. And I want to say our subgroup was really strategic about this, about determining where we need to go through a process which Jeremy will get to later, but not saying we will be at one high school at this day, right? Just trying to determine what is the best course of action for us as a school district to take. Facilities, obviously, a lot of that we'll be talking about through the bond issue, et cetera, but obviously having an identified plan of where our resources need to go. Staffing, always, and as we progress through this CSIP, will always be our #1 priority to make sure we have high-quality staff for our students, and this guides us and directs us toward that. And obviously, in the last CSIP, we did it and we're doing it now, but we're always trying to be financial stewards of our resources. With our strategies, as Earl and Ashley did, we'll bypass that, and Jeremy will talk about key action steps.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. First one for school configurations, Dr. Lewis said, it is a hot topic issue for some people, not at all, but definitely for some. So analyzing the enrollment trends, as you guys know, in the late fall, maybe December, we brought out the demographic report. So that doesn't mean that's all we do with it. We want to review that data, compare it to real data as our enrollments are changing or coming in from year to year, and then possibly use that with a potential committee that we will have to determine if a school configuration model needs to stay the course or change. And people that are hearing that or have heard that may think that that's new. That's not foreign to this district. There was a committee that met in 2012. There was also another committee that met in 2009 that have maintained where we're currently at. Our enrollment hasn't drastically reduced or anything like that, but certainly we're at a point where it's desirable for us to review and to discuss and make a plan moving forward if necessary. Conduct stakeholder survey focus is a way we'll do it. We'll benchmark with comparable districts and develop a data report with recommendations. Our goal for that will be within the course of this 5-year plan. So we'll go as quickly as we can, but we also want to be mindful and make the best decisions, I know, because that's what the board desires. So facilities, we're hire and engage facilities experts. We have that currently, but we want to maintain what we have and possibly even improve upon that. That's one of the things that you'll note that we did with the roofing and going out with Garland, getting experts on the rooftops and then making sure that the final product meets their desired specifications because it's their warranty. So they will make sure. So that's one of the elements that we're talking about there. Evaluate safety and compliance standards, including ADA, fire safety, air quality, HVA efficiency, et cetera, and all that is in the bond. Gather stakeholder input We always are surveying, especially towards the end of the year. So if you happen to, so every building will do that. I'll just say that. We move on to the next one, please. Staffing, expand university partnerships. The market is very, very difficult right now, as Dr. Lewis could discuss at length for us this evening, and then enhance digital recruitment strategies. We certainly have the communication expert in the district that can help out with that. We know that's for certain. And then the last one, finance, conduct a comprehensive budget audit, looking for those unmodified reports at all times, which is what we desire. Implement incremental budgeting practices. You have really two budgeting practices you could go with. Zero-based, where you drop everything back to zero and you put everyone in a panic in the district, or you can do incremental, where we're adding percents on. And then align budget with strategic priorities. That's our goals for each one of those, or action steps.
And that's really it as far as the CSIP. One of the things that I did want to point out is that over the next 5 years, you will start to see us report out to you more frequently on the CSIP and where we are with the CSIP. Quarterly, we will have either a presentation or report. You might see it in some of our annual reports. So for example, when I do the annual student achievement report, I will probably add where we are, also our progress with the student the academic excellence as well. But you will start to see quarterly reporting of our progress towards making or meeting our CSIP goals and action steps.
And to piggyback on that real quick, one thing that we saw from the previous CSIP, it was a lot bigger than this one. So we've really streamlined it. And so, and what we want to do is, it's not just the board, it's not just the central office team coming up here quarterly and talking about it and living it. We want our whole staff to live it. We want everybody to live it. So what you see, what you saw presented today and what you guys helped create, that's it. That's the plan. So when people talk about, oh, we got this going, we got doing that, everything fits in that plan. So the why is the mission, and then everything else is the what in terms of the strategies and the action steps. And so when we send this out to our when staff gets a hold of this, you know, we want to live out our values. Obviously, PBIS and things that we do, MTSS, all that goes into it. But that plan is what we're going to live out. So Big Rocks, all those things have been great, but this is it. This is the new plan. And so we're going to put this on T-shirts for everybody. We're going to do all kinds of stuff with our mission statement and making sure that people are living out not just the mission value and our mission, vision, and value, but actually the action steps as well. And so everything we do is this plan. So everything we are doing in the school should basically reflect and line up with this plan. And not that we didn't do that before, but we're taking it to a different level, so. And the Big Rocks and all those things are great, and we had themes, but for next year, this is all we're focusing on.
Great.
And it's a 5-year plan.
Yeah. Any questions? A lot of hard work and time put into this, so thank you
Yes,
to all of
thank you
our
to everybody.
central office staff and board members, teachers, parents. There were a lot of people on this committee, so
And it's pretty exciting to have the funding to go along with it.
it is. It is very
Pretty
exciting. Is there a motion to approve the 25 through 30 CSIP plan as presented?
I make a motion to approve the, I lost it,
You can just say CSIP.
20, do I read to the last year? CSIP plan as presented.
Is there a second?
I second it for 5 years.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. Item 9.05, the preliminary tax hearing, or tax rate, I'm sorry.
All right, so this is an annual endeavor that we have to put out, and it's for our assessor really to send out tax notices and give homeowners and/or personal property owners the ability to predict what their taxes may be. But as we've said before, this is a non-binding tax rate. It's just for communication purposes, especially for our assessor group. This is done every April, and it's based off of the figures that the assessor currently has on the evaluation that they currently have. So right now, what we're seeing and what the numbers I can give you, preliminary assessed valuations indicate about a 6% increase since certification from the County Board of Equalization last August. That's really our real estate assessed valuations that have grown since 2023 especially. And the assessed valuation has increased 5.2% since last March. So we saw kind of an uptick from that, from last March. The other pieces I think are important to note, because I think a lot of people associate our tax rate with increases in their taxes. And the biggest thing that I want to emphasize and for people to hear is we are having one of the lowest tax rates that we've had in quite some time, just due to the increase in valuations. So valuations really drive our taxes, and when we see those valuations grow, specifically when they're higher than the consumer price index, we're going to see our tax rate decrease. And if you saw, and on the last slide, if it was up, you saw in 2019 and 2020, we're in a $5.37 with the 75 cents on there. Now we're looking at about $4.46 as a tax rate. To give you an idea also, we are approved to go as high as $4.88 just on our operating. That's minus the 75 cents. So we could go well above that. We're actually we're below our actual operating ceiling minus the 75. So, so our tax rate is good. Like I've said before, we are third in the county for tax rate, and we are third for our bond rate as well. So we are not, I don't believe we're definitely not overextending ourselves to any stretch of the imagination. It's also important to note every taxpayer is protected by the Hancock Amendment. We can never grow beyond 5%. So in those years, the last few years where we had really high inflation, we weren't keeping up. We weren't allowed to keep up because of that taxpayer protection, which I agree with wholeheartedly. But it makes it much more difficult to keep up with the market when the inflation is growing so rapidly.
Thank you, Mr. Shields. Any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the preliminary tax rate as presented? Second?
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That carries. Item 9.06, meet and confer agreement for classified for the 25-26 school year. Does anyone have any?
I
you
would
wanna
just like to
present?
say,
Yep.
as always, you know, when we sit and we have the opportunity to negotiate with our union partners, it's always good when we can come to the table and agree and make it better for our staff, and in this case, it's for our classified staff.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. Any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the 25-26 meet and confer agreement for classified staff as presented? Thank you, Ellen. Is there a second? I second. Karen? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That carries. Thank you for your patience. Adult Ed. Now we were moving on to Community Education Program Review. You all just happened to be in a meeting that we have a lot of other stuff. So thank you for your patience.
They loved it. They soaked it all in. They loved it.
Yeah, I could tell.
It's interesting.
It is.
Press the little person icon on your.
Press that little person. Yep.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you.
Good evening. I want to begin by acknowledging President Heidi Sigma and our esteemed school board members for their leadership and dedication to education. I also want to recognize Superintendent Dr. Jason Seifert and our district administration team for their continued support and commitment to student success. I am Dr. Stephanie Collins, and I have the privilege of serving as the Coordinator of Adult and Community Education, also known as ACE, for the City of St. Charles School District beginning in 2024. And prior to this assignment, I was the ACE Program Supervisor for 17 years. And as we present our ACE 2025 program evaluation, now in our 82nd year of service, we are excited to share highlights, data insights, and the ongoing impact our program continues to have on adult learners and the broader St. Charles community. Our program functions under the leadership of Mr. Jeremy Shields, Assistant Superintendent of Operations. Joining me this evening are my team members, Mary Ellman. Mary is our marketing specialist. She's responsible for promoting our programs through various channels. She oversees our website's management and content development, coordinates print and digital media campaigns, recruits instructors to support and expand our course offerings, and is pivotal in keeping our office organized and running smoothly. Sarah Steinbrigge, our secretary, provides essential administrative support for our program. She oversees key functional activities, manages student registrations and class schedules, and works closely with district building personnel to ensure instructors are properly onboarded to their class sites and that students are informed of class logistics. Their dedication and hard work make a meaningful difference, and I am truly grateful for their support. We believe in not just educating students, but investing in our instructors. And a strong support system is in place to empower them, because when our instructors succeed, our students thrive. And a true testament to this is when former students return to teach the next generation. We're proud to have a former Lewis and Clark career student leading our arc welding program, and a former phlebotomy student is our lead phlebotomy and medical assistant instructor. And also joining us this evening is retired firefighter paramedic Brian Beasley. He's a former EMT adjunct who now serves as our lead EMT instructor, and Brian is well connected in the EMS community, providing a wealth of knowledge and resources. He oversees the EMT program and the adjunct instructors, coordinates clinical experiences, and ensures students are prepared for certification and real-world emergency response. We are also supported by Jesse Skeen, our customized training and workforce development liaison. Each person on this chart plays a vital role in developing and delivering quality learning experiences to our adult learners and ensuring the continued growth of our program. As we move into discussing the heart of our program, I just want to briefly touch on the why behind ACE. At the core of adult and community education is a simple but powerful belief that education has the ability to transform lives. We're here to create real opportunities, affordable, accessible, and meaningful for people at all stages of life, whether someone is a recent high school graduate, switching careers, discovering a new passion, or working toward a personal goal. ACE is designed to meet them where they are. Our four major areas of program that help bring our goals to life and to meet the diverse needs of our community are career training, workforce development, personal enrichment, and career and online training. We offer 244 seated courses, 2 virtual courses, and over 750 online course offerings through our online partnership. Our program is supported by 37 instructors, and we utilize 7 district buildings, ensuring that we're able to offer our courses in a variety of settings and formats to reach as many learners as possible. In the skilled trades, we provide hands-on learning opportunities in areas such as welding, precision machining, HVAC, residential wiring, and small engine repair. For those interested in healthcare, we offer allied health programs like EMT, phlebotomy, billing and coding, and our newest addition, the Certified Clinical Medical Assistant Program. We also offer a variety of enrichment courses from creative arts, dance, fitness, computer technology, language, and life stages. And through our partnership with Ed2Go, we provide affordable online continuing education courses. This slide highlights our enrollment trends by semester, beginning with the fall 22 fiscal year. And to illustrate, we've grouped the data by fiscal year. In 22-23, enrollment grew modestly from 595 in fall 22 to 629 in spring 23. In 23-24 marked significant growth. Fall enrollment jumped 35.5% over the previous fall, and spring 24 climbed 42.7% compared to spring 23. Our current fiscal year continues that upward trend. Fall 24 rose to a 6.2% increase from the previous fall, and spring 25 stands at 748. That's a small dip from last spring, but the semester is still in progress, and final numbers are expected to rise. Our revenue trends for the same time periods show that in fiscal year 22-23, tuition revenue rose by 48.3% from fall to spring. 23-24 marked notable growth. Fall 23 revenue increased 15.2% over the previous fall, and spring 24 climbed 13.2% compared to spring 23. Our current fiscal year continues this momentum. Fall 24 shows an 18.9% increase over the prior fall, and spring 25 stands at 147,462. And while slightly below last spring's total, the semester is still in progress, and we expect that number to rise. As with enrollment, we typically see stronger revenue in the spring, and that's likely driven by New Year goals and seasonal engagement. Overall, our enrollment and revenue trajectory remains strong and speaks to the continued demand for our programs. Transitioning into our workforce development efforts, this slide outlines our customized training program with Missouri One Start, in partnership with Missouri One Start. As one of 16 LEAs managing training funds, we've maintained a 15% administrative return while supporting 11 manufacturing partners. Our consistent recognition as a top performer in spend-outs and audit readiness underscores the impact and efficiency of our program. The fiscal year comparison of our customized training funds shows in 22-23, we administered $862,755, which increased to $877,000 in 23-24, with projections reaching $935,746 for our current fiscal year. These increases reflect growing demand and trust in our ability to deliver results. Our administrative fees have also risen proportionately, helping us to maintain capacity and compliance across projects. ACE helps to reduce financial barriers for our learners by providing tuition assistance with a strong focus on leveraging community and state partnerships. Through our collaboration with the Missouri Job Centers across the region, including locations in St. Anne, St. Charles, St. Louis, and Troy, we connect eligible students to funding through WIOA, the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. In addition, we work closely with vocational rehabilitation. We offer scholarships based on available seats and flexible payment arrangements to ensure our programs are more accessible. We also extend discounts to district staff, students, and retirees. And these combined efforts reflect our commitment to equity, access, and student success. Now, with progress comes the need to constantly evaluate and respond to challenges. ACE actively monitors registration trends to address enrollment fluctuations and adjust course offerings and schedules to meet learner demand. We maintain a strong presence in community through targeted outreach, partnerships, and flexible class formats that accommodate diverse lifestyles. Instructor recruitment is an ongoing priority, and we focus on hiring qualified, dependable professionals who align with our mission statement and our student needs. Course retention is strengthened through consistent communication, engaging instruction, and timely support. Regular check-ins and feedback gathered through instructor and student surveys help us to identify and address barriers to success before they become obstacles. And as we continue to grow and serve our community, the following highlights a few achievements that reflect the quality and impact of our programming. Our EMT training entity, in its 42nd year, completed the rigorous recertification process, securing accreditation with the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, Bureau of Emergency Medical Services through December 31st, 2029. This milestone reinforces our commitment to excellence in emergency medical training. We're also proud of our strong student outcomes, with an 87% assessment pass rate and a 95% pass rate on skills. One of our district's CAP students earned the honor of EMT valedictorian, an incredible accomplishment that showcases the caliber of learners we serve. In addition, we've expanded our reach through high school partnerships, offering presentations to inspire and inform students about our career pathways in various programs. We continue to invest in our community by helping individuals and families navigate the tax process by hosting an annual 6-week free tax service through the St. Louis Tax Assistance Program. And to wrap up, we want to share a few exciting events before the end of this fiscal year that continue to show ACE's presence in community and ongoing commitment to student success. We will present to the Optimist Club at the invitation of former Superintendent Dr. Roger Deppy to discuss the correlation between mental health and adult education. And the premise is that we need to keep our minds active, and adult education is one way to achieve the goal of being a healthy optimist. We will serve as a vendor at the St. Charles Job Center for their short-term training event aimed at expanding access to workforce development and other opportunities. We will participate in the 3rd annual Mac Scholars Recognition Night at St. Charles West, a special evening celebrating student achievement and academic excellence. And of course, we look forward to honoring our next group of emergency responders for the spring EMT graduation. So I will pause now for any questions or comments before our last slide.
Any questions, comments?
No questions, comments. Great presentation. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
amazing.
Did amazing, yeah.
I just want to say Stephanie and her group, they're
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
They're doing amazing work. And a lot of school districts either close their ACE programs or their adult education programs or never have had them. You're talking 80, did you say 82?
82.
I mean, it's just that tradition is just fantastic, and we're just really, really thrilled with the work they're doing, so kudos to you, Stephanie.
Yes.
You can clap for that.
Well, on behalf of the entire adult and community education program, we thank you for the opportunity to reflect on our progress, our mission, and our vision. This invitation allows us to realign with our why, our commitment to serving the St. Charles community and surrounding areas with lifelong learning opportunities. And we also recognize that we cannot do this important work alone. It takes collaboration and support from our incredible district leadership team and their staff, principals and secretaries, building custodians, and especially the dedicated team at the Lewis and Clark Career Center, where our operation proudly resides. Together, we are making a lasting impact by expanding access to education, supporting workforce readiness, and shaping a more empowered and educated community. Thank you.
Thank you. I feel like we should clap. Thank you all so much for coming.
Just so you know,
We don't
not every
always clap.
presentation gets a clap, so. Especially this late, that's awesome.
No, thank you all
Great.
for coming, spending time to present, and you all are obviously free
Feel
to
free,
go,
you
but
can go.
you can see the pride on your faces, so we appreciate
And
it.
having an instructor come and stay this long,
Yeah.
and got here early, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Means a lot.
Yeah, thank you so much. Amazing presentation.
Thank you so much.
Bye, thank you guys, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the community education program review as presented? Is there a second? Brian, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Amazing program.
Oh, we just have
One of the
amazing
best.
people
Yeah.
in this district, it's just crazy.
Item 10.02 is the financial planning and investment of surplus funds.
Speaking of
Great.
amazing people,
I plan on destroying any enthusiasm you guys feel right now.
It's a tough act to follow. I was gonna
Sorry,
say,
you have to, you should have gotten to go first.
Let me tell you about this policy. Really, all of this is an annual thing as well, a piece as well that's required by the state. And it's really just to say that all of our investments follow the state guideline of being safe, meaning it's diversified across hundreds of different investments with our MOCAT and/or MOSIP. If you remember, MOCAT is for our operating, MOSIP is for our bond money, and that's how we kind of keep that. But then they themselves scatter it across hundreds of different securities within our nation. So it definitely meets that requirement. And is it liquid? Can we get it out the same day? That's the biggest piece. As long as we tell them before 11 a.m., we can have same day And we're talking our operating funds, which are a significant amount of money. It's more secure than sitting in the bank, one bank, that's for sure, because we have one depository bank. So we prefer that route. Right now, there is no reason to believe our money is at risk, given the climate of our market. So we've had many phone calls about that already, just to ensure and to receive that data. So March is still showing that we're making money on our funds, so we're happy about that. But it doesn't mean, again, that we don't have risk, and I think that's the most important piece. Just like with technology, anytime you invest money, there is risk assigned, but there's also risk if we put it into just our depository bank. We think it's a manageable risk, and we think it's a risk that's worth our efforts, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Any questions, comments? If not, is there a motion to approve the financial planning and investment of surplus funds program review as presented?
I move to approve as presented.
Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes. Item 11.01, District Financial Report.
All right, so the biggest thing on that, if we were to pull up the March 2025 board reports, scroll down to the bottom one, that's the year end, and to see what those operating funds are looking like. We're currently sitting at about close to $39, $40 million in our operating account. We should honestly have a bit more money in there if our revenues were keeping up from a state and federal stance. So we're looking at that very closely. It doesn't mean we're in bad shape by any stretch of the imagination. We are not, but we do want to monitor that because there is some revenue that would have been expected this year that we just want to make sure it's not going to go into next year, which could challenge our fund balance, meaning just challenge the number. Right now, we believe that number is going to fall between 23 and 24%, but again, it is dependent on that revenue that we could see coming in. The state, just to give you an idea with how we look at that, the state just confirmed that, we are going to receive the student adequacy target money that was presented last May to us. So we do have to monitor that as well to make sure it is going to be fully funded. We've been receiving it, but we didn't know if it was going to be fully funded or not. So that's certainly a consideration. So we're operating as needed. Like I've told you guys before, I always like to have a little bit more security, but we're operating as needed. The big component is as we've got a 2-hour meeting tomorrow just on budget. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be looking at those revenues, but it's also to get us to plan for next year. So we've been having these meetings frequently. And so the biggest thing that we've looked at here recently is Senate Bill 190 and the impact of that. We believe we have a projected figure on the loss of revenue because of that. We think it will land around $100,000 in lost local revenue. Not the end of the world, certainly sustainable, but that's where we get it. How we get that figure is we believe it was a 7.9% revenue or a valuation gain from 23 to 25. We have about 3,115 residences who have successful applications within our district boundaries. So taking that preliminary tax rate, total evaluation, and taking that property value, those assessed valuations off of that, that's where we get that 100,000 projection from. So again, sustainable. That's not going to hurt us by any stretch of the imagination. What's that going to grow into? We don't know. There's no trend, but that's where we believe we'll end up landing going forward. Last couple of things. What's the bond plan after you've approved it this evening? It's about 8 weeks before we start getting money, and that's when we authorize our financial advisors to move forward. It's a little bit tricky, though, because we will have to take this to you at the end of June, and then at the end of June for our second meeting in June. Remember, we have 2 because we like to close out our fiscal year and make all our payments. We would receive our first money around July 8th. That's the expectation. So we will be going to the board. Dr. Seaver will be reaching out to the board to get that worked out for you guys as far as when you're available to get that. So again, it's about a 2-month period of time. If we try to hurry up and do it At our June board meeting, we would have some conflict with our financial advisor. That's why we're going to push it back into the second one. So we don't want to push our financial advisor too quickly. The other piece to that is they are hopeful that we'll have some stability within the market, meaning right now, people are waiting, like, oh, it's 4.7 today, and then tomorrow it might be 5. And that 0.3 is very important to those big money investors. So, so they're hoping it stabilizes by then and we can get a firmer rate. There's some other aspects to it as well, but I won't go into all of those details. But again, looking for have that money released on July 8th. Now, we've just approved some projects as well. So what do we do when we don't have the money until July 8th? It's reimbursable for 90 days prior to when you authorized the bond to even go out into a vote. So you authorize that in December, so you can go back 3 months from December. Any money that we've spent can be reimbursed now, starting that July 8th. And if you look at our capital fund, that's Fund 4. That does include a little bit of bond money, which isn't significant. We're pretty healthy there. So we will be able to incur that without any issue at all and then reimburse that fund back. So let's see here. That's probably it for the financial report.
Thank you. Any questions?
Thanks, Brian.
Comments? If not, is there a motion to approve the financial report as presented?
I move we approve the financial report as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes. Item 12.01, is there a motion to move to recess to closed session?
I move we recess to closed session.
Is there a second?
Is this roll call or all?
Yes. Gibson? Aye. Hewitt?
Aye.
Ahern? Aye. O'Meara? Sarah?
Aye.
McGrillis? Sigma?
Aye. Thank you all for coming to the meeting
Thank you,
tonight.
everybody.